Hello everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of Extinct Bricks Repaints! And for this pilot episode, we are going to do the LYKA compatible figure Raptor Squad repaint. I would like also to thank youtube.com audio library for this awesome background music. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell. To be able to support my channel, please do not skip on all the ads on all my videos. Thanks everyone! You may also like to follow me on all my social media platforms. We have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and of course LYKA. There I will be posting some of my exclusive photos and videos as well. I'll see you there! And now for the Guesses PC Contest winners! Here they are! Let's start with the lucky picks. Jekko S, Alray the Jurassic World, Guilherme Meiros, Kalish Patman, Tobias Meyer, Swoshing Lee, Zor Mars, Max Suckers, Pepchin Vermeulen, and Samuel David. Congratulations everyone, and now for our top 10 winners. G. Oliver Furco, Maximum Power, Santiago Quintero Quintana, Marshall Hadwin, Spino Guy, Dinomation, Miles Phillip, Mandy Amar, Prehistoric Bricks, and Greg Nadu. Congratulations everyone, and I'll see you on the next Guesses PC contest. And for those of you who would like to join, here's how. Just click on the Extinct Bricks icon and it will lead you to the Extinct Bricks homepage. And on the homepage, just click on that community link and it will lead you to all my posts. Thanks everyone! Now let's start the repaint. Raptor Squad. So here are the base figures that I will be using for this particular repaint. This is the Raptor Squad that I've shown before in one of my videos for Extinct Bricks unboxing. These are the mini Raptors. You have here Blue, Charlie, Delta, and of course Echo. So only left thing to do here would be of course primering, and here they are after they are being primered. One tip in choosing your primer paint would be of course it has to be flat and have a certain grayish color to it. For this one, I am using Bossy number 68 in gray. Okay, so before you start with the colors, you have to have certain references. And for this one, I saw that LYKA2591 from Twitter actually posted several pictures of what he did for the Raptor Squad. And I think he's a really good artist. He did several, great revisions of certain existing LEGO toys, as well as, suggestions on other creatures in LEGO form as well. So I advise you guys to check his Twitter account. He's such a great artist, and you'll see there several posts as well that you might be interested as well if you like dinosaurs and Jurassic World or Jurassic Park. Okay, so moving on with this particular repaint, I know you guys have always been requesting me to, have a certain custom for our Raptor Squad here. Of course, we have Blue, Charlie, Delta, and Echo. So I think this is the perfect time that I would be doing that, so here it is. I started from backwards. This is actually Echo. So as you can see here, the colors for Echo is a little bit orange or brown like colored on the top of its basic color, and the undertone or the underbelly would be a lighter yellow to it. Later on, several more details will be added to this one, such as certain speckles and also stripes of colored teal. Since these are mini Raptors, I actually am using, the finest brush that I could actually make use of. For the larger portions of the painting, I use this medium-sized brush, but for certain sections wherein you have to, create certain details, I'm using my fine brush here, such as this one. As with my other repaints, you probably know by now that first I will be doing one side of this figure and then doing the contralateral side after the other side has been fully dried. This is so that I can make the other side or the contralateral side symmetrical to the one that I've already painted. Okay, so let's set aside Echo first while I'm waiting for it to fully dry, and let's move on with Delta. Delta will have, of course, a lighter underbelly as well, but will have a little bit of green tinge to it. So I'm mixing a new batch of white mixed with a little bit of yellow, green, and a little bit or tiny bit of blue. The primer is really good because it's actually taking up most of the colors that I'm painting here. But even if that is the case, I usually go back and apply a second coat of the same color on my figures. This will ensure that your paint is smooth and consistent all throughout. Okay, so moving on with Delta here. Delta will have that darker green color on the back of its head, as well as some certain details on the tip of the tail as well. It will also be the same color that I will be using on the hands, as well as that of the thighs and the feet. Just remember guys that when you are using acrylics, it will usually end up a little bit darker than it is on your paint plate. So be careful when mixing blacks and also certain darker colors, just so you don't end up with a very dark figure. So again with the details, I'm using a fine tip brush for this particular portion of painting. Another tip that I can also advise you guys is when you're just working on the primary colors, don't overdo the details yet. Keep it simple at this moment, and then go wild when you're doing already the more intensive detail coloring. This will allow certain balance in terms of details as well as color combinations when you're doing your figure. Another tip, when you're doing your paint, don't move on to the next color if you haven't really done all the colors yet, such as this one. I'm doing several more details on using the same color as that of the underbelly and the lighter colors. So do this before you move on to the next color so that you'll save on your paint and they won't dry up easily, so that you won't have to mix another color again and then repaint. For super fine details, I actually am using this steel ballpoint brush that I actually dip into the paint and then swivel it around or make certain details as if I'm using a certain pen or a marker that is permanent. This is the same brush tool that I actually used in painting the details on the neck. Those stripes, can you see? They're really sharp, right? Now that Echo is fully dried, we can now add in several more details, such as the scar on his face. Okay, so let's move on to the next raptor. This is Charlie. Charlie is also colored green, very similar to that of Delta. The difference between the two though is that Charlie here has a little bit more yellow-green color to it rather than an end-to-end green like that of Delta. So what I'm doing is, I'm painting the underbelly and also the undertail of Charlie here with a little bit of white mixed with yellows and a little bit of green to it. This will somehow create that gradient effect from yellow-green to lighter yellow-green to almost white-green. Note that for this mixture of green that I used, I didn't want to, use the first color that I used for Delta. The reason is that the color that I used for Delta's back has a certain tinge of blue to it, also certain black. This will actually hinder the color blocking of these two raptors and make it, more distinct from the other. Again with my tip, when you're doing certain details, use a finer brush. This will actually help you, avoid making mistakes, especially when you're doing already the details. Okay, so after that has dried a little bit, I went on with several more details of the darker tones of green for Charlie. And since I'm doing several more details that are more fine, I switched back to my metal ballpoint to create those fine stripes and also speckles on Charlie. Okay, so now that Delta has already been fully dried, we can now move on with, certain details on the face for this particular raptor. He has certain markings on the face which are darker than his usual skin. So we're doing that here. The color is a mixture of green and black. Just that. Okay, so now it's time for Echo's turn. Echo is now dried and is ready for several more details such as the teal stripes and speckles all around her body. This color is a mixture of turquoise with a little bit of blue. You guys probably noticed, but I actually placed Blue on the last of my paints because he's actually my secret favorite raptor. But among, of course, Charlie, Delta, and Echo, I think among those three raptors, my favorite would be Echo in terms of coloration. Alright, now it's Blue's turn. Blue is a mixture of different shades of gray. So for the, of course, the lower part or the underbelly for Blue is a little bit more lighter than the usual. So I mix a batch of white with a drop of, black and a little bit of yellow. And as I go further up, I just add a little bit more black to the existing color so that I don't have to premix another one. Oops. And here's Blue's progress. So other than adding, black to the current or existing colors that I used for the underbelly, I also added a little bit more yellow or yellow ochre to it. Again, I'm being careful not to darken the color because it will eventually turn out more darker than it is. That's simply how it is when, dealing with acrylic paint. As we are painting Blue, I'd like to, catch your thoughts on what you think about this pilot episode of us doing repaints. I have been friends with some of you and I know that you guys are also following certain artists like Ted Brothers that are also doing repaints. Ted Brothers is such an inspiration to me. I like the way he actually paints his figures out of metal figures, so why not do it in Lego form, right? We can also talk about how Lego did the Raptor squad. I think they did a fantastic job in coloring those particular Velociraptors. The reason why I actually mainly wanted to repaint this one is that they are just about the correct size in terms of minifigure and Raptor ratio. So I did particularly this 4 minifigures or 4 mini Raptors here as my base figures for this particular repaint. Okay, so let's go back to Blue. Here I'm just mixing several more darker colors of gray. This is to highlight several details on the face as well as the back of Blue. And now that all the primary colors of grays for Blue is already dried, we can now start on with the infamous stripe. I start with this white stripe on the side of Blue. You know why? Because the blue stripe for Blue is actually lined by white coloration. So I figured if I have to, create that very thin line on a blue stripe, that would be really hard for me. So what I did was, create a white color, and then after it's dried, I'm going to paint over the blue stripe on it. And here it goes, the blue stripe. This blue is particularly a mixture of, navy blue and a little bit of teal to it. The turquoise color or the teal color on this mixture of blue actually lightens up the navy color of the blue one and make it more visible in terms of the contrast of the grays and also the white. And now that all my Raptor skins are now painted, we can now start with, details such as colors on the gums, the teeth, the nails, and the eyes. I'm gonna stop talking now and let you guys enjoy the rest of the film, and I'll meet you in the end. And that's it for the repaint. It's almost end of the video, so it's time for us to have the last looks on the Raptor squad. And of course we have here Blue, Charlie, Delta, and Echo. And here's a familiar scene from the Jurassic World movie.
Hey! What did I just say? Delta, I see you. Back up. Okay. Good. Charlie. Stay right there.
That was fun. I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Thanks for watching. And of course, please don't forget to watch the adventures of Moira and Asher. Please watch their videos and support their channel as well by subscribing. And as we always would say, let your inner dino brick roar! Thanks everyone and goodbye!